Today's best music, Magic 89.9.
Yeah,
man! They're listening. Sarah.
It is 8:04 all over the Philippines. If you're watching us from all over the world, thank you for joining us tonight. The boys are out tonight. My name is Sam YG.
My name is Slick Rick.
My name is Tony.
My name is Gino Killiamore. Welcome and good evening, everybody. Obviously, it's not an all-boys thing tonight. We have such an amazing guest. I can't even believe we're talking to her.
Taco Tuesday, bro.
Exactly. It's one of those things.
Crazy.
It's like, are you sure?
I'm sorry. High school me is freaking out right now. You know what I mean? It's just, oh man. Okay.
Well, let's give her a proper introduction.
Okay,
Right.
so here we go. So, ladies and
Ladies and
gentlemen,
boys and girls,
Boys and girls.
Children of all
ages.
for the millions
and millions.
watching all over the world.
The singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, actress, DJ, model, and a lovely mother.
Mama.
You've seen her on billboards,
Billboards, music videos,
Videos.
TV commercials,
movies,
magazines.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on Boys Night in Miss Melanie C.
Mel C.
Hi.
What a lovely introduction.
Thank you. We worked on that for quite some time.
Yeah, it was slick.
It's not the same when you're working from home. That's one thing
it's just
for sure.
not the same. The timing is a little weird. But yeah, hi. You mentioned earlier that it's 1 p.m. from where you are. How is everything on your end?
You know what? I think, like everybody, the world over, all the people affected by this, it's quite challenging at times. There's good bits. I've really tried to appreciate a bit more time at home, but in all honesty, I'm a bit over it. I miss my freedom. I want to come out. I want to, I want to travel. I want to come and see you guys. I'm a little bit sick of talking to people from my front room.
I guess. I completely understand. Yeah, I think everybody's just dying.
Mel, I want to ask Mel if are you wearing anything below the waist?
Because there are rules.
Because I'm wearing a nice top, but I have no bottom. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
I'm kind of presentable from the waist up, and then it's like sport to wear from the waist down. Yeah.
That's the way it should be, right?
It's like it's the mullet equivalent of attire. You know what I mean? It's business up top, party down below.
Okay.
Speaking of COVID, I guess you have millions and millions of fans all over the world, and you're just coming from a 2019 tour. How is this COVID going to change how you interact with your fans, with friends, family? I mean, are you going to be one to hug and handshake and give the besos? Or are you going to be from a distance?
I think we just all have to keep waiting for the advice. I think we're still learning about this virus, and it's kind of too soon, isn't it, to know? I think it's going to be a gradual process, hopefully getting back to a normality that we all recognize. But I'd find it very difficult to not be hugging people and being very tactile.
Are you a hugger or a kisser?
I think it depends how well I know the person.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Me too.
I do travel a lot, and different cultures have, a different attitude towards that.
Yeah.
In Great Britain, we're quite reserved. We're a handshake, hug, maybe a single kiss kind of country. But there are other parts of the world where it's multiple kisses and everything.
So you really have to get used to it.
Yeah, you kind of have to judge it. You have to kind of feel it out how it's going to go, don't you?
Mm.
Very when in Rome.
So
Yeah, exactly.
how are you and the family, spending your time there at home?
It's been dead busy for us because I've been continuing to work, speaking to people like your lovely selves, trying to stay connected to my fans. I've been doing lots of live streams, Q&As. We've recently been putting out some acoustic performances. I've been doing some DJ sets. So that's been keeping me super busy.
Yeah.
But also I have children here. So we're homeschooling and cooking and cleaning. And so it's kind of like, I feel like I've got even more roles than usual. So it's been a busy time, and we've had some lovely moments, but we've had some quite tough times as well, all feeling a bit like we want to kill each other.
Yeah, I think that's pretty normal. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm alone and I kind of feel the same way. No,
Really?
but it's actually great that like on your YouTube channel you do your you reach out to your fans basically, and you have like a Q&A thing happening that happens every week, right? Like I think once a week you reach out to a lot of fans, and they eat that up like anything. Like they love being able to talk to you. They love being able to, because I think that's one of the things that we really lost during this whole process of quarantining at home. Obviously the connections are not the same as it once was, but to some degree, like it's easier to talk to people online, you know what I mean? Like at least it makes it easier for them to connect to you.
Yeah, I've actually seen that as one of the positives from this experience, because I've often felt a little bit nervous about social media. I think sometimes when you're in the public eye, you feel like you value your privacy, and sometimes I feel like social media, I don't know where the line is,
Yeah.
But I've kind of really embraced being able to reach out to my fans, and I found that I actually feel closer to them, weirdly. And I think I want to continue that beyond this. I want to use social media for the good bits, because of course there's bad bits in everything.
Of course,
So kind of like really drawn to the positives.
So is it safe to say that this is part of who you are now? Sorry, just I know, just a little musical play.
I think, another thing is, it's been a bit of a voyage of discovery for everyone, hasn't it? I think it's given us time. We've all had to take on a slower pace, and I've been observing my thoughts and feelings, and I've been speaking to lots of friends, and they're really like assessing what their life is and what they want it to be, and whether they've taken a bit of a diversion. So I think, it's definitely been another opportunity to really figure out who I am.
Speaking of who I am, that's your new single that's out, that just came out, and it's so timely. I mean, it's I see the video and how it has different generations of your hairstyles, of I guess your interest in art. But how do you deal with the anxiety, not just now, but even through the years, and the depression? When you get down and out, a lot of our the next pandemic, they say, is going to be a mental illness one. Do you have any tips for the young girls, for the guys out there that go through this is the first time we're dealing with this kind of crisis, but I mean on an everyday struggle? How do you get out of it? What are the things that you do to get out of that that pit?
What a rut,
I think it can be really difficult. And I think the thing we must remember is you're not alone. Everybody, sometimes has, even if it's just a bad day, a bad feeling, but actually there are a lot of people who do suffer quite significantly with anxiety, with depression. And personally for me, it is that thing of reaching out. You must speak to people. If you're not comfortable speaking to your family or to your friends, try and find somebody, an organization or a professional, because, personally for me, sometimes people ask me how to deal with it. And I say, you know what, I'm not really qualified to deal with it. I have experience of it, but thank goodness, having the internet, there are great resources out there. So I'd say, do not suffer in silence. You must speak. And if it's, like I say, if you don't feel comfortable speaking to somebody, reach out to a professional.
But how does it... Oh, go ahead, Sam.
What's one thing, out of all of this, it's a whole new world for all of us. We're learning things about ourselves, learning things about the world, different people. What's one thing you would be able to say that you've learned to value so much more, given this whole situation? Like, now we're spending a lot of time with probably your family or friends. We were probably super busy before, doing all sorts of things. What is one thing that you learn to value through all this whole lockdown experience?
There's a few things really. I think the number one thing is that freedom that I've taken for
True.
granted,
Mhm.
being able to go where I want, when I want.
Mhm.
And I've really neglected people, I think.
True, yeah.
We're all on a treadmill, aren't we? We all work
Yeah.
so hard. And, often in my life, my work's been my priority. And now I can't see my parents, they're shielded. They're both in their 70s.
Yeah.
And I just think, I don't give them enough time.
They realize, yeah.
So that, I think it's given me a bit of a priority shift.
Great, great.
And
Yeah.
how does it feel that your music, throughout all the generations, is they find comfort in it? Because we were talking about the whole mentality and how people they seem bored at home, but then they seem lost. But then once they hear your music, they're like, okay, at least there's some solace. So how's that feel?
Yeah, that's something, doing what I do, it feels incredible because when I was younger, music has always been a huge part of my life. And I always found strength in listening to music. Those difficult teenage years when you're in your bedroom all alone, whether it's the heartbreak or, feeling lonely. And I turned to music and it did give me strength. And when I hear fans talk about how my music or the Spice Girls music has done that for them, I feel humbled, and I feel lucky to be able to do that for other people. And I think we really felt that last year with the Spice Girls when we did our stadium tour here in the UK.
Yeah.
And we were just blown away by how many people were out there. And, we were filling these stadiums like 70,000 people a night. And we knew our music had lived on and the legacy had lived on, but we didn't realize how many people and how many lives it had affected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, even Filipino fans will attest to the reach of the music that you guys have had. I mean, personally, like I went on all boys school, and usually the stigma is that the Spice Girls were for the female only schools, but that was not true at all. No, we all listened
the lyrics.
Exactly. I remember having a cassette tape and I was reading through it, like the lyrics are there.
To become one, Pops,
Yes.
to become one. I need some love like I never needed love before.
This is
That's
why
the ultimate
we're not in music, you know what I mean? But yeah, one of the questions that a lot of because I actually posted on my social media that we would have the honor of getting to interview you tonight. One of the questions that a lot of people was wanted to ask is because obviously we're Filipino fans are a little selfish. We kind of wanted to see you guys perform here, and obviously like you had your reunion concert in the UK, and a lot of people have kind of been doing this thing online now since everybody's just at home, where they do like an online concert of sorts. Is there any possibility of that maybe happening? Like maybe like an online reunion where everybody, like the whole world, can just watch it? I feel like that'll be like a fantastic idea.
I think it's an incredible idea. I personally, luckily, I have, like, technically I'm set up here to do that.
Yeah.
Myself. So I've been doing a few Spice Girls songs and on my own stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know if all of the girls are set up to do it.
Right.
So maybe as lockdown is beginning to ease here, maybe that will become something which is more of a possibility.
There you go.
Mel, I wanted to ask, 2019, you came from your Sync the Pink tour, which was very colorful. I was able to catch a few concerts that you did worldwide. And one of the issues that you are really a big part of is gender equality, the LGBTQ community. How did you get set up in that, from the Spice Girls and then now Sync the Pink? Almost 20 years later, I think even more. So what role did you play in that, in realizing that you wanted to work with these fine gentlemen or queens, the queens of the streets?
My gorgeous queens. Well, it's an amazing community that have supported the Spice Girls since day one. And we've always felt a real connection to the LGBTQ plus community. And I was asked to perform at Sync the Pink, which is a club night here in London. It's an East London creative collective. Drag queens, drag kings, I mean, anything goes. It's super fun, it's super inclusive. And I just fell in love with everybody there. And we did a few performances together, and the reaction was so positive. We felt like we wanted to make it bigger and we wanted to take it further. So we put a little show together, and it was really fun, quite theatrical. Some Spice songs, some covers, some solo work, lots of costumes, and, really fun and upbeat. And we performed at Pride all over the world. We went to Sao Paulo. We were at World Pride in New York, which was really big in 2019. It was 50 years since Stonewall. So it meant an incredible amount to everybody there. And I just feel like it was an opportunity for me to really be thankful and show my support as an ally to this community, and also just and really learn so much more. I think we're working closely with drag queens, and some of my dancers are gay, some of them are gender neutral. So it was a real interesting and educational time for me as well.
Is it easier now? You could say that there's a much bigger support rather than back in the 90s. I mean, no matter whatever your gender preference was, or if you like the same sex, it wasn't as easy as it is now. You see more and more younger kids coming out, saying to their parents, or at least expressing themselves even more than it was back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's evolving, and it's evolving at different rates in different territories, in different cultures. I understand, and we have to respect, people have different beliefs, and religion can often come into play. But I think I'm so fortunate. I live in London, and it's so multicultural, and there's a lot of acceptance here. But even saying that, we do still have issues, and there is still prejudice here. And I know it varies in different countries. We were in Sao Paulo, and the president there is quite outspoken about his views about homosexuality. So it was important to be there and stand up for the community at that time. So I think it's just something where, yes, things are improving for people, but we just do have to bear in mind that it's not the same everywhere you go.
So someone wanted to ask, do you like women as well, or do you like men more?
Of course, that question had to be asked.
Let's get to the good question.
I have to ask.
That is so funny.
I have a friend.
Hard hitting.
I'm straight. I have a male partner, and I have children. And I've never considered myself to be bisexual or anything. But I kind of.
I have a follow-up question. Spice Girls. Oh my God, my dreams.
No!
My childhood dreams.
I think part of what I learned working with people from the community is, it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. We're just people, we're spirits. Where I stopped seeing people as male and female or gay and straight. I started to see people as just a
people.
person.
Yeah.
And it felt like really liberating to have that. Because we all have souls and we all connect, don't we? And sexuality doesn't really matter unless you want to sleep with the person, right?
That's right.
That's the next question of Tony. Take it away, bro.
What's the question, Tony?
What's the question, Tony? Let's go.
She's happily with someone now. If she wasn't, then
then maybe you would have asked.
Yeah, Tony, he probably would have flown that your way.
Man.
You might as well.
I want to ask, during this period, have you been able to connect to the rest of the girls?
Yes, we have been keeping in touch with each other. Everyone's cool. Everyone's doing okay. We've been seeing quite a lot of each other. We really had the opportunity to reconnect when we did the shows last year. Yeah. So I think when we're all allowed to be in the same room, it would be nice for us to have a proper little catch up.
Because before Slick gets to his next question, I'm gonna tell you our dream as Boys Night Out. It's to get all of the Spice Girls in one Zoom conference call as well, with the four of us. That'll be the dream come true.
After that, I'm done. I quit my job.
I'm gonna retire.
I'm gonna retire. That'll be the highlight of my career. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
It's like, as you were saying.
Exactly. But we have a lot of questions coming in via Facebook, and some were asking if you were to choose one of your girls, one of the Spice Girls, to be locked up in quarantine, who would it be?
That's quite a difficult question.
It is,
They all
isn't it?
have such different qualities.
Yeah, you got to choose one.
You definitely have lots of fun with Mel B,
Mhm.
and she's a good cook, so you could definitely have some good food.
Look at the smile on Tony's face. He just licked his lips right there. Mel
He's
B,
excited. He's
Mel
excited.
B. He's just like, oh my
But Mel's
God.
also quite energetic, so she might wear you out a little bit.
Oh,
Tony's ready.
Even more.
Handle Mel B tones.
It's so laddie. And then Emma's she's quite chilled. She's a really good person to chill out with.
Yeah.
Jerry's very good at baking, which is
okay.
lovely, but you might get a bit fat eating all her lovely cakes. And Victoria's quite chilled out. She likes to work out as well, so we could be workout buddies. So yeah, that's a really tough one.
So there
There
are pros and cons to each and every single one of them, like being quarantined with each and every single one of them.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, since you were known as the Sporty Spice, are you just as, I guess, athletic now? Are you doing anything actively on a daily basis? Do you have a routine? Do you work out? Well, obviously, pre-COVID,
Yes.
I'm sure you were probably working out because you gotta keep, in shape.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge part of who I am. Let's say it again. Because, I've realized I'm a very physical person, and without movement, I don't feel alive. I love to stay fit. I love the gym. I sometimes compete in triathlon. I love yoga. I'm really missing the gym actually, but I'm trying to do some stuff at home. And I have one of those Peloton bikes, which is amazing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Peloton bikes.
So I've been doing a bit of that and getting out on my bike when the weather's good. So
Nice,
I think it's really
yeah.
good. We spoke about mental health earlier, didn't we? And I think exercise is definitely a really important part of keeping your head straight.
Definitely goes hand in hand. I think, one will just complement the other.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and you speak about Mel, you about body shaming. I read an article how you really are for body positivity.
Yeah.
And how you're trying to help women, especially in this industry that you're in. Society, the culture in the industry to to lose weight, to look a certain way, takes a big toll on anyone, and especially younger women.
Yeah, especially the kids with all the social media wave and everything. Everybody wants those likes. They try to post all these photos.
And all you see are highlights of people. You know what I mean? Like it's bikini photos left and right, and abs left and right. Yeah.
They don't get the likes. They start feeling bad about themselves. It's becoming such an egocentric and just everybody's just comparing themselves with each other.
Yeah. No, it's really difficult. And, I find that I have an 11-year-old daughter. So I'm kind of right at that point where she wants to be on social media. And I think generally in society, there is a lot of pressure on everybody now, not just young girls, but guys as well. We're all so concerned with the way that we look. Yeah. And I just really try to encourage knowledge, about nutrition, about exercise. And, you have to be careful because some people become obsessive with it as well. Yeah. So it's really just about having an understanding and trying to have a healthy attitude towards everything. We're all different shapes and sizes. We all have different likes and dislikes. So we just have to look after ourselves. And I think, it all goes hand in hand. Again, coming back to mental health, we have to be kind to ourselves. We have to love ourselves, not only in eating well and exercising, but in our thoughts, in our internal dialogue. I think so many young women are really harsh on themselves. I think in a Western society, the one I grew up in, we're never funny enough. We're never thin enough, or we don't have enough friends, or we don't have the right job, and all these things. It's always so negative. And I think we just really need to appreciate that we are enough. And I just think that would have a knock-on effect in all aspects of our lives.
Which is actually perfect because that's what the song is all about. I mean, if I'm interpreting it correctly, Who I Am is basically like you coming to terms with, well, for lack of a better term, who you are. Yeah. And, it's all about loving yourself. And, I mean, even I was watching the video a couple of days ago, and I actually got to watch you on James Corden as well. And when you debuted the video on TV, yeah, TV,
Yeah.
is it? I'm trying to think about it because it's online and whatever. But I just wanted to ask you about that actually. Like, how did you come up with with Who I Am? Like, was it one of those things that you always wanted to talk about? Was it always one of those things that you wanted to sing about? Was there a specific time in your life that you were kind of like, yo, I'm not too happy with what I was, but now I found that perfect moment in my life where I completely accept everything about me?
What happened, I was on stage with the girls last year, and it was the first time I'd performed as Sporty Spice for over a decade. And I felt quite nervous about it. I thought, wow, do I still have the ability to become Sporty Spice? And then I realized that I don't become Sporty Spice. I am her.
You are her.
She's a part of me. And it just made me feel very reflective. And I thought about all the different times, whether it be through my childhood, through my career. And I suppose just being a little bit older, I thought it was time to really accept all of those times, even the ones that were difficult, because I think we often celebrate our successes, but we don't celebrate how we've overcome challenges, and that really is what makes you. So I just thought it was a really interesting concept that, kind of talking about what we were talking about just a minute ago, like all those years when I wasn't happy with certain aspects of my life, it was just a part of me, and we can modify and we can change certain things. But at the end of the day, we are who we are. So we better just get on with it and accept it.
I wanted to ask you, since you brought it up, what was probably one of the hardest challenges in the past that, all right, great. You never thought you would get over it. You thought it was like you were done. Like life was just, it's over.
Well, to be very honest, when I first was diagnosed with depression, and I was also suffering with an eating disorder at the time, I was incredibly low, and I didn't feel like I would ever be normal again, whatever normal is. And that was a hard recovery, but there was like a tiny, like little bit of light, I just had this feeling inside of me that I wasn't going to let it beat me. And some days I felt like maybe I was wrong and it was going to beat me, but I just kept trying, and I had good days and then I'd have bad days, and it felt like maybe one step forward, two steps back sometimes, but I got there eventually. And I think the thing that I've learned is that nothing stays the same, and I think that this lockdown period is kind of made that even more, has made me realize that more, that you can feel awful one day and great the next, and nothing's really changed externally, and we just have to have faith that the bad feeling is going to go.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. And you know what? For all your fans here in the Philippines, why don't you, if they haven't, heard your song, why don't you, watch the video. Why don't you, tell them all about it.
Yeah, well, the new song, we've talked about it a lot. It really is about self-acceptance. It has quite a dance feel. I wanted to make music you wanted to dance to, but that had thoughtful lyrics.
Right.
I'm working on an album, which is very almost finished, doing as much as we can remotely. Yeah. And so there'll be lots of new tunes dropping this year. It's quite up, but again, there's some thoughtful moments. And I'm very excited to present it to all of my lovely fans out there. And once we can travel again, my visit to the Philippines is so overdue. It's beyond
book it.
Please.
And make sure you stop on by Boys Night Out. We're gonna love to have you on the show and chat some more.
Next time I see you guys, we will be in the same room.
It'll be in person.
Exactly.
Sounds fantastic.
It'll be better on the beach. Better on the beach.
Oh,
we've got amazing beaches, we'll make it happen.
Mel, you can bring Scarlett, you can bring your hubby. We gotta hit the beach. I'm telling you. It's long overdue. I've been in the house for 60 days now. It's
too long.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking
we got a question. Hold on. You worked with Left Eye, you work with Emma, you work with Bryan Adams. Who are some of the artists that you want to work with? That's just coming from.
Oh my
obviously.
gosh.
Who are some
I've worked with
collaborations?
I have some interesting collaborations on the album, more in a songwriting sense. I've worked with a young artist called Shura, who's amazing. I worked with Little Boots, who people might know. She had a really big album about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
She is very electronic. She's very cool. So we've had a lot of fun writing together. I'm a big fan of Billie Eilish. That would be the ultimate.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, there are so many great artists out there. I really love Charlie XCX. I think she's really interesting and kind of in her own lane. So many great females. So I'm always up for a new collab.
Are you on TikTok? Someone's asking.
I think I have an account, but I never use it. I do my daughters quite a lot.
Here we go.
Was that the question from Revilson? Revilson says hi, by the way.
Hey, Rovi.
What's up, Rove?
Hey, a lot of fans loving, seeing you at least from where you are. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful Taco Tuesday.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Be safe.
Bye. Soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Healthy.
All right, virtual hug.
Virtual hug.
Tone, easy.
Easy, Tone. Back. Relax. Back.
Social distancing.
Kaya pala nagpolo si Tones tonight. Like a fresh salmon.
All the best to Scarlett and Joe.
Thank you. Bless you. Bye-bye.
Thanks again. All right, there you go.